Hello, my friends. So today the activity along the entire front line has intensified. So it's reported that the occupiers conducted 70 attacks in the past day. But let's start with the situation in Russia. There, the Russian Freedom Legion has begun active movements and even yesterday warned the local residents of Belgorod and other cities that military objects would be shelled, so they better leave their cities. In addition, videos were released showing that they are on Russian territory. But today, Russians are massively spreading information claiming that this village is in the Sumy region and that there is nobody on Russian territory at all. So the Legion fighters have already responded.
Вчера русский добровольческий корпус, Сибат и ЛСР выступили с совместным заявлением. Мы обратились к чиновникам и властям Курщины и Белгородщины. Ежедневно с территории Российской Федерации по Украине, по ее мирным городам и селам наносятся массированные удары. Гибнут мирные женщины, дети, старики. В связи с этим мы предупредили население Курщины и Белгородщины о том, что будем наносить ответные удары. Мы вынуждены отвечать и наносить ответные удары по военным объектам на территории этих регионов. Руководство этих областей проигнорировало наше предупреждение. Никаких мер по эвакуации мирного населения Белгородщины и Курщины предпринято не было. Поэтому я обращаюсь напрямую к жителям этих регионов. Немедленно покиньте Курщину, Белгородщину, все крупные населенные пункты. Мы откроем огонь по военным целям на этой территории в течение 1,5 часов после этого видеообращения.
Also, I can immediately say that the Russians are actively trying to stabilize the situation in the information field. And I noticed a huge number of bots in the comments who started writing that all of this is fake and there were no incursions into Russian territory. So overall, we are waiting to see how the situation will develop. But Russia is doing everything it can to justify itself. However, even foreign publications are now writing that, according to the words of the Russian Freedom Legion fighter, they intend to go to Moscow. So we wait. But for now, of course, there are no major breakthroughs. Furthermore, yesterday a video emerged confirming that there were unsuccessful attempts to advance from the Sumy region into Russian territory. So this indicates that not everything is straightforward and the Russians are also trying to hold their defense. Now, let's take a closer look at the situation along the front line. Starting with the Kupiansk direction, the occupiers continue attacks in the area of Tabaivka. But all attacks near Sinkivka have ceased. So the Russians haven't achieved any success and the front line remains unchanged. Shelling continues as usual. In the area of Svatove, the occupiers have started showing activity, so several attacks have been recorded in the area of Stelmachivka. The Russians haven't conducted offensive actions here for a long time, but today they are trying to assess the Ukrainian Armed Forces defense for possible further movement toward the river. However, the Ukrainian Armed Forces successfully repel all attacks and there are no changes along the front line. In the Krynki direction, the occupiers continue to assault the positions of the Ukrainian Armed Forces near the village of Terny, so as before, and attacks on Yapolivka have resumed. The shelling continues as usual, but the Ukrainian Armed Forces repel all attacks and the front line remains unchanged. In the Siversk direction, the occupiers have also been attacking Bilogorivka for the third day. So the activity is not the highest, several assaults per day, but the Ukrainian Armed Forces successfully repelled them, so the front line remains unchanged. And shelling continues as usual. In the Bakhmut direction, the occupiers conducted 3 attacks, as stated by the General Staff, in the eastern areas of Chasiv Yar. So this, once again, proves that the Russians have advanced and are attempting to attack Chasiv Yar. Unfortunately, they have already penetrated into the forest near the city, where fierce battles are taking place. Battles are also ongoing for Bogdanivka and Klachivka. And in other areas, there is a significant amount of shelling, but there are no new changes along the front line. In the Avdiivka direction, the occupiers conducted 14 attacks in the areas of Berdichi, Orlivka, and Tonenka. And there is also a significant amount of shelling both along the front line and in the rear. So on this front, the Russians continue to actively involve aviation for strikes. However, despite this, the front line remains unchanged. The Russians cannot achieve significant successes here. In fact, despite the ongoing active battles, the front line has been successfully stabilized, so the Russians are no longer able to capture several villages daily as they did before. So battles are also ongoing in the area of Pervomaiska, but the Russians haven't achieved any success here. And the situation in Nevelsk remains uncertain, and the Ukrainian side doesn't confirm the occupation of the village by the Russians as before. In the direction of Mariinka, the occupiers conducted 19 attacks. So the main battles are taking place on the outskirts of Krasnogorivka, near Georgiivka, and in Novomikhailivka. So interestingly, the occupiers are attempting to storm the populated area with a large number of groups, breaking through from different sides. And they have already published photos claiming to have raised a flag in the center of Novomikhailivka. But it seems that the Ukrainian Armed Forces have successfully repelled them from there. And now they urgently want to capture the village to justify their hasty claims of its capture. But despite the highest level of activity in this direction, the Russians haven't achieved any success. The front line remains unchanged over the day, and the Ukrainian Armed Forces continue to actively destroy the advancing occupiers. In the Vuhledar direction, the occupiers conducted 5 assaults in the area of Staromayorsk. However, as before, they haven't achieved any success, and the front line remains unchanged. Shelling continues as usual. In the Zaporizhia direction, battles continue for Robotyne, and in the area of Verbove, attempts to expand the controlled territory persist. So they are trying to advance around Robotyne to create an encirclement for the village. So overall, this is the standard tactic of the Russians that we have seen many times before. However, it seems that the Ukrainian Armed Forces are inflicting huge losses on them, because today the occupiers conducted 5 attacks, while yesterday there were 17. Nevertheless, the front line remains unchanged. In the Kherson direction, the occupiers continue shelling the right bank. Assaults on the village of Krynki also persist. And they still cannot dislodge the Ukrainian Armed Forces from the left bank, despite Putin being reportedly informed that the territory is under their control.
The Kokli have now fought back. Ours are back in their original positions. But more than once General Teplinsky was told that it was not worth burying people for the sake of these, for his beloved, PR assaults. Soon, There will be no sergeants, warrant officers and officers capable of leading units to storm the bridgehead in the village of Krynki. And so some companies in the 144th Motorized Rifle Brigade, 70th Motorized Rifle Division, 104th Airborne Assault Division are commanded by warrant officers and sergeants, and platoons are commanded by corporals and privates.
Overall, Teplinsky seems to be doing everything right and destroying the Russian army as needed for the Ukrainian Armed Forces. And that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye.